What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Detached Garage. Today is the very first episode of the Garage Beers podcast. This is my buddy Mike Merkt. We'll get into his credentials in a minute here, but we're going to have car and garage guys on this podcast. We're going to have entrepreneurs, and we're going to have just all-around awesome people. Mike meets all three of those criteria.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Really starting off with a bang, I guess.
That's right. So, it's Garage Beers. Mike has requested a Coors Light.
Basic,
let me get you
no problem at all.
The first Coors Light on the Garage Beers podcast. So, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, really informal. We're just going to hang out, chat, talk about life, talk about cars, talk about garages, talk about your business. Do you want to plug anything while you're here?
Yeah, sure. So, I own the specific chiropractic centers in Hartland, Wisconsin. Been in practice for a little over 3 years now,
all right,
which has been crazy. Went to school in Minneapolis, and just been kind of always into cars and bikes and stuff. We do a cars, coffee, and cereal at the office, which Sean has come to a few times, which is super cool. And it's just I'm super happy that I get the opportunity to be on this podcast and be one of the first people on it.
You are the first. Yeah. Episode number 1.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I got notes for Sean, or I got questions for Sean.
All right, well, I got some questions for you too.
Okay,
I got some questions for you too.
Sounds good.
So tell me about. I've been to Cars, Coffee, and Cereal a few times at the specific Lake Country.
Yep.
And so, what made you put the cereal twist on it?
Okay, awesome question. So obviously, Cars and Coffee, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of, it's basically an international phenomenon at this point. So the one in Minneapolis, when I would go there, was at this place called the Automotorplex. Huge place. It was like an apartment building for wealthy guys, but it was just garages.
Yeah.
And they would decorate the insides to make them look like whatever, like 50s gas stations to race shops, like all this stuff. And I thought it was a ton of fun. I enjoyed going and meeting new people and stuff like that. But I hate coffee.
All right.
So
You're not a coffee guy.
No.
Are you a latte guy?
No. Well, I guess I'll get like a chai latte and like that's kind of it.
All right.
But otherwise, like I don't like coffee, so I'd go to this. I'm like, this is really great, and everyone's like drinking coffee, and I'd be there like freezing my butt off.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have my own,
can I get a hot chocolate?
Yeah, like if I'm gonna have my own, I'm gonna have freaking cereal for people, and it's been good. I think it's added like a little bit of, I don't know, I guess like fun to it. I think people don't take it as seriously as they take other Cars and Coffee, which is like really the goal of it and all that stuff. So, that's
good. Yeah, I mean, you've had pretty decent turnout most weekends.
Yeah. Like it's funny in the summer. It tapers off actually.
Yeah.
Like June and July it always tapers off, and then August to September, October, it ramps back up again.
Yeah, I feel like Wisconsin car culture is. People are so excited to finally be done with winter and get their cars out of the garage. So the first one in spring is just massive.
Yeah.
And then the next one, the next month is like the lowest of the year because everybody was pissed off that that there were so many people at the first one.
Right.
And then it starts to ramp back up a little bit, kind of tapers off, and then it really gets going back in the fall.
Exactly. So it's been good. Something that like what I wanted to start off with isn't even a question for you. It's more so a story for the people watching, and more so a story for, I guess, people that might be in the Milwaukee area and stuff. So like obviously like Sean and I know each other, but what you don't know is actually how we know each other. So so like back in the day, back when I would say we were younger and maybe cooler, we would go to this place called Highway 100, which I'm sure a lot of you viewers are used to, and I'm pretty sure it was a night where like there weren't many people. I had a WRX at the time. Sean had a WRX at the time.
I did.
And
since we're gonna edit this, I'll throw some pictures up of those cars.
Perfect. Yeah. It's one of those things to where we so we decided to street race like against each other, which was I have no clue if I won, if I lost, if he won. I don't remember that much, but I know we street raced, and I'm like, oh, that was sweet, like that was a cool car, this and that, and I didn't know him since then. And I remember I was in Oconomowoc, I think the next couple days, by Blockbuster, and I'm like, No way.
That's how old this was. Blockbuster Video was
still in business. No, and I remember I'm like, this is that bug eye that I raced on Highway 100.
Yeah.
And then you and I want to say John came out of Blockbuster or Tim's or wherever you guys were, and that's kind of how we hit it off. And then from there the Hatchback Hookers was formed.
That's right.
And a bunch of
Wagon
stuff.
Mafia.
So, Wagon Mafia, Hatchback Hookers. So yeah, it's just
yeah, that's that. I figured you were probably going to bring that up.
Had to have, had to have.
Yeah.
And then,
so the Subaru crew, and we had John with the '87 Supra.
Yep, hatchback Supra.
Yep. So quite the crew, all built turbo cars and just running amok on a low budget.
Yeah. No, it was fun. It was super fun, and it was a good time. And then I mean, I chauffeured you and your wife Lisa.
That's right. After at our wedding.
At our wedding, my car was pretty low at the time, and it's like construction was going on, and I'm like, well,
you had this thing slammed to the ground.
Yeah.
With your external wastegate.
External wastegate, and I'm like, well, Sean asked me to do this, so we're doing it, baby. Like, there's no turning back at this point.
That's right.
If I'm buckling my quarter panel, then I guess we're gonna have to fix it at the body shop.
So when did you get rid of that car? When did you?
Oh, I got rid of that car in, I think it was January of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, I sold it to a guy in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He came down and got it. I was super happy.
Super happy to be rid of it.
Super happy to get rid of it. Well, I'm sure a lot of viewers understand, like, you build something and it's super fun and you meet a lot of people from it and all that stuff. Yep. And then it gets to a point where, like, you want to do something else or you want to build something else. Right. But now you're stuck with this modified car. Yeah.
And I saw the whole build of that car, because didn't you and your dad get it on was it a salvage title?
Yeah. So I bought it salvaged. It was an '08 WRX. I bought it in '08. The person before me stopped paying the bank. Okay. So it wasn't salvaged from damage. It was salvaged because, like,
repo.
Basically, like, it was salvaged because, like, the bank's like, we're just gonna salvage this and save our butts to not have someone come after us. So we fixed it up from there, and then it just kind of, like, snowballed from there to the point to where I was one of those weirdos that had a WRX and then also had a daily driver because I wasn't driving it in the winter because it ended up being a really nice car. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, because I remember when we met on Highway 100, it was, I think all you had done was an access port.
Probably
at
like
the time.
It was probably like a turbo back and in stage 2, and that would have been it.
Exactly.
And then, like, the intake, so you can hear a Subaru blow off.
Right.
So like that would have been it.
Yeah, and I mean, from there to when you drove us away from the wedding, like, complete transformation.
Yeah. So from there, I mean, full coils, full, like, sway bars, control arms, especially like rear control arms to get, like, camber in a Subaru, because I was one of those, like, slammed guys. I gotta
have the stretch.
Yeah, like, at the same time, I still am. Like, I appreciate everything. Bigger turbo, external wastegate, full exhaust, injectors. So it was fun. And what was fun is I did all that in my garage and really just.
I remember coming over and helping with.
Yeah, like, I kind of just, like, learned as I went. Like, I grew up, so, like, my dad has an auto body shop in Delafield, so, like, I grew up somewhat mechanically inclined. But most people see me, especially, like, I'm still in my office attire, and they're like, this guy doesn't know anything about, like, cars or motorcycles and stuff like that. So it was just cool to do that and really, I guess, like, push my knowledge. And that was kind of, like, forums were a pretty big deal, but there wasn't a ton in regards to YouTube videos and being able to just like go out and look at YouTube videos. Like, you'd have to.
How do I do this?
Like you'd actually have to, like, read the forum or figure it out on your own.
Read the thread, find it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember spending days trying to figure out how to, like, get my seatbelt chime to go off. Right. And in my car, it wasn't the Subaru, like, click it 20 times. I had to take the gauge apart and, like, take this little piece out. So it was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So you mentioned your dad's auto body shop.
Yeah.
I was going to ask the question I was going to ask you is, what got you into cars? Was it
Yeah,
him?
so yeah, like that's a question I have for you too. Yeah, it was basically him. So he's really big into cars. My uncle is big into cars. My cousin's big into cars. My cousin was on Discovery Channel, which is super weird to me, but also really cool. So yeah, he's kind of always been into cars. So then I've always been around car shows and all of that, and motorcycles and everything. And it's one of the things to where, like we talked about, like you're gonna have to come to his storage place and like in Wisconsin here and do a video there, because there's some pretty crazy stuff there. I mean, he's
through the garage.
He's doing we got a lift out there, some machines. He's finishing a dune buggy out there and stuff like that.
We'll
so
definitely have to do a garage tour and walk.
It's
through.
cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to. It's awesome.
Plug for Mike's dad if you're in the Delafield or greater Waukesha area. Tom's Auto Body in Delafield.
Yep, that's the spot. But yeah, how'd you get into cars?
Man, so ever since I was little, it was always either airplanes or cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always wanted to design cars as a job when I got older, and then I went to school for engineering and realized that I suck at CAD, and that was not going to be a career move for me for drawing on a computer. I couldn't even get through that level.
Gotcha.
It was always a passion of mine, just, go-karts as a kid and hanging out with my dad and him doing maintenance on the car. Not performance modifications or anything like that, just doing maintenance. And he was into racing, so in Formula One racing. I actually had a really cool experience with him last year. Got to take him to the Formula One Grand Prix in Austin. And that was like the 20-year anniversary of his first Formula One race at Watkins Glen, New York. Yeah, that's cool. It was cool to take him to that. But yeah, same kind of thing. Just my dad was into doing maintenance on the car and watching racing on the weekends and stuff. So I just always loved cars, wanted to design cars when I got older. And that didn't really pan out. But at the same time, I kind of changed my dream to really focus on garages and eventually being able to work on a car in the garage and have a lift and all that. So,
no, for sure. And I think you're doing it right in regards to, like, I worked for my dad's auto body shop for years and years, and I realized that working on cars is a hobby and passion of mine, and I don't want to make it like a job. So I decided to go down this other route, which is great. But yeah, it's the same thing.
Right.
Are they doing, speaking of Formula One, I know they did like kind of a test or a demo in Chicago. Are they still considering that in Chicago, in the streets of Chicago? Or?
I think they're considering it. I know Formula E was just in New York. So that's getting much bigger. Especially street circuits for Formula E is kind of the thing instead of like the major Grand Prix circuits like Formula One. But yeah, I think they're thinking about it. I know Miami, they were thinking about doing a Formula One race in Miami, but for right now, it's really just Austin. So,
yeah. I mean, Chicago would be cool.
Chicago would be very cool,
especially because it's so close. too.
Yeah. So it's only 2-hour drive depending on where you are from where we're at in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, so, exactly. Something else, something I wanted to talk about, which I think is a hot button topic. In the car scene, at least to me, is, and I think I'd say in general too, with people and stuff like that, but Instagram versus reality. And like, there's been so many times where I've either been to shows or like I've been to SEMA as well, and you'll see cars that you see on Instagram and then you see them in real life, and it's like, man, this thing sucks. And like I don't have anyone's car in my mind particularly, but just the idea, and that kind of brings me to like the whole point of where the car scene is right now. And it's like I feel like there's almost like a division, but not at the same time.
I think photography and doing. All right, so battery died. We got a new one in camera, so we're back. First podcast, little glitches here. So YouTube. We were talking about
like we were talking about
Instagram versus reality.
Or social media versus reality.
How
there's so many. There's so much stuff out there where you see stuff online and it's really awesome and this and that, and then you see it in person and it's not as cool. And it can even go people wise too,
right.
where you see someone online and wow, this person seems really cool, and you meet them in person and they're
total jag
or just very bizarre or whatever.
I think so YouTube and photography and figuring out how to light a room, and I'm not very good at it, but at the same time,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
The 15 minutes of fiddling to get this set up. But I think there are people who are very good at it and can take something that doesn't look very good and either put a filter on it or change the lighting or shoot it at a certain angle where it just enhances it. And I think so. You were saying when you see it in person, you're just like, this sucks. And it's like, if you were still 10 feet away from it, you would probably think that it doesn't suck.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you get up close and get in the detail. And it's
and I think part of the curse is growing up in an auto body shop,
right,
and knowing like what is supposed to
panel
be
gaps,
like what's supposed to be like what, especially with paint and orange peel and stuff like that. And by no means am I saying that my stuff is perfect, because it's not.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like it's just a weird, I feel like, popularity contest. Out there, which is fine. I think that's how it is now. But it's just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think, and especially like being in the detailing kind of world, and you see all the reflection shots.
Yeah,
and
pre and post, the tape line.
But then also like people just get done washing their car, and they kind of do the angle where they're reflecting off the paint.
Yeah.
But then you kind of look at the paint straight on with one light source, and you get all the swirl marks and all that.
Right.
And my car absolutely has that.
Right. No. For sure.
From a certain angle, but the mirror shot is just so overdone. It's like the change of paint correction and getting the swirl marks out is just huge. And
without a doubt.
So you can just pivot the camera and get a different angle. It's all about the angles, Mike.
No, it is. It truly is. And me being a low car guy, I should know that with camber, but obviously I don't. So here we are.
But speaking of that, we talked about your '08 WRX.
Yep.
Hatchback hookers.
Hatchback hookers. Yep.
So give me a rundown on your cars. You've still... From there, where did you go?
Yeah, so from there, I had some dailies, but no one cares about dailies. From there, I went to... I got a 69 Mercedes 280S.
Which you still have it, right?
Yeah, still have it. Don't drive it nearly enough. There's no AC. There's no insulation on the firewall, so I'm just going to be a baby and wait till cool spring and cool fall, and then that's the perfect time to drive.
That is the perfect time to drive it.
But yeah, so found it on Facebook before there was a Facebook Marketplace or anything like that.
Right.
It was just
Facebook ads page or something like that.
It wasn't even anything like that. A friend commented on the picture of this guy saying...
And so it hit your news feed because somebody commented on this picture.
Yeah, it hit my news feed. I reached out to this guy. I'm like, hey, I want to buy this car.
Yeah.
At first, he's like, okay, and then he backed out, and then he eventually I got it, which was cool. I wanted them for a while.
Right.
I had a friend who owned a bar in Milwaukee, and across the street from the bar in Milwaukee, there was kind of this like auto service shop, it seemed like, and they always had those ones where the rear end was kind of a weird airbag setup.
Yeah.
And the air would get let out, and they would look slammed, and I thought they looked really cool because the profile of those cars almost looks like a kindergarten drew them.
Right.
Like they're so square.
Yeah, they're so boxy.
Yeah, similar.
But then like the kind of bubbly front end with the headlights.
Yeah, because it was either like that, or I've always really liked Volvo 240s as well. So like similar body style. So got that. Bought that one also broken.
Okay.
A guy was driving it, and it was so low that he went from graded asphalt to like normal, and he didn't see the little ramp, and he hit that
just too quickly.
Hit it too quickly. Hit the oil pan. The oil pan didn't break. The motor mount broke. Shifted the motor into the radiator.
So it hit the oil pan, and it just
hit the oil pan.
The mounts were
oil pan didn't even break. It's like, I'm really strong German metal, whatever. Like it was built from a tank, and the motor mount broke. Shifted the motor into the radiator. That's how I got it.
What's your oil pan built out of? A 1/4-inch plate.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So yeah, got that, fixed that up, had the motor mount welded.
Yeah.
Had someone I think in Waukesha just fixed the radiator.
Okay.
And drove it like that for a little bit, which was fine. But the thing was wound so tight on the freeway.
Yeah.
So ended up swapping a small block into it. So which was fun. It was a crazy project, but swapped that in there. Once that was swapped in there and all that stuff, we actually drove it to Southern Wörthersee or SOWO down in Georgia.
Yeah.
And with that, ended up with a Speed Hunters feature, which was crazy.
Nice.
Like, I didn't expect any of that. Like, we were there for a day and a half because on the drive down on, I think, Thursday or Friday night, the fuel pump died in southern Indiana.
I think I remember you texting me that.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like
tough trip.
Yeah, it was like 11 p.m. and like driving like 75 down the freeway, and then the car just stops. And I'm like, no way. I mean, luckily my dad being an old hot rodder, he switched it from an in tank fuel pump to like on the block fuel pump. So when you're in southern Indiana, every parts store has a fuel pump for a small block Chevy. Right. So it was a quick fix, but I mean, but one where we had to spend the night, get a tow truck.
So if you would have LS swapped it, you'd have been on the side of the road still.
Yeah, I'd still be there. I would still be there. I wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
So and you still have this car today. Mm-hmm. That's kind of your hot rod car.
Yeah.
And then, but you got a motorcycle too, right?
Yeah. So kind of in the past few years, got big into like vintage Harleys. Have a lot of friends that are into it.
Okay.
Plus, I think it was something to where I guess for me, like, cars are fun, but like once, like, I've always been into motorcycles,
like especially
like racing motocross and stuff. And once you kind of get into that, it's a different feeling from driving cars. Like driving a car, especially an old car, is a very like raw feeling and stuff like that. And then driving like an older motorcycle is even more of a raw feeling.
Right.
Which is fun. And also I was at the point where I was starting a business, didn't have a ton of funds, where like building a motorcycle is a heck of a lot cheaper than building a car.
Yes, it is.
Which was fine. And
you already had the Mercedes. So.
Yeah, it was always that. And it's one of the things where like, I don't ever really want to sell that car just from all the sentimental value of like building it with my dad and all of that stuff, which is super fun. But yeah, what like, okay, let's run down. So you've had the WRX.
Yep.
You have your Audi now.
Yep, I have the Audi now.
Yep.
So I had the 02 WRX when I met you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sold that for a 08 STI.
That's
the blue wagon.
Yep.
The blue wagon. And the WRX, I did a 18G turbo on.
Mm-hmm.
But the STI only went stage 2 with full exhaust and everything like that. Didn't go with a bigger turbo and everything because that was my daily driver too.
Yep.
So then got married and sold that.
Yep.
And got a what did I replace that with?
Did you get a Volkswagen?
I did have a Volkswagen.
But you also had your truck too.
Yes. So I bought the Volkswagen and had that for like 6 months while we were moving and in the process of getting married and all that. So that became Lisa's car.
Gotcha.
And then, so that was a 2012 something TDI sport wagon.
Okay.
So we got back from Volkswagen for Dieselgate. That was awesome.
Yep. Good for you.
And I had a truck at the time. So I talked about that in my Rivian video. I had that just massive truck that I didn't have any truck things to do with it.
Didn't have to tow anything.
Nope.
Not really any dirt because you're in an apartment.
Like I said, all it helped with was moving, and there's U-Haul for that. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I went to that. Then what did I drive? Oh, I drove the I had a 2.5 RS, a 2001 2.5 RS for like 4 years.
That's right.
I had that for 4 years. It was manual as a 4-door and just drove that thing into the ground. Like, I sold it to somebody from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Actually, drove down and got it. It had like 175,000 miles on it when I sold it, but It was in really good condition because it was originally a Southern car, so it had like no rust behind the rear quarter or anything like that. And so I drove that because it was paid for. Just drove it for 4 years while we were getting out of debt, and then bought the Audi, and that's what I have now. So
nice.
What
is your like? Obviously, you put the deposit on the Rivian and stuff. What like, do you have anything else that you want?
So, the whole point of getting the garage is so I have a spot to put a third car.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get something that's nice or something that's in pieces and just take up a garage spot and have to park outside or anything like that. I mean, I've parked outside in my life. We've lived in an apartment and all that. But I just, if I'm going to buy something to work on, I just want to have a spot for it to work on it and just have its own space, essentially, and then still be comfortable and pull the car out of the garage and not just scrape snow off in the morning. So,
no, for sure.
So I don't really know what my first project car is going to be. I want to build something. I've got the picture up there of the Altima GTR. I think that would be really cool. What's
your dream car?
Man, there's just too many.
Well, I understand.
There's too many.
No, I understand, but I wasn't sure if you have one where it's like, no, this is what I actually want.
There's so many cool cars. Like I think your Mercedes is awesome. And
Thank you.
And that I would want something like that.
Right. No, true.
In the collection.
Well, right, but I feel like there's gotta be a unicorn. Like there's gotta be a unicorn.
There's gotta be the unicorn.
Yeah, there's gotta be one. Because like to me, I feel like every other car guy, like an F40 is like my unicorn.
F40
like it is to me. It is the pinnacle of cool like just full on race car on the street. And I mean, there are some in this area, which is cool to see.
Yep.
But it's almost unreachable. It's reachable, but it's almost unreachable.
Well, what's crazy is the value. They're somewhere between 800 and 2 million, depending on mileage and all that. And so, but they're just like there's so many more of those cars than other cars of the same era, like the 959. They didn't make nearly as many of those, and they're still around the same price point. But I don't know. Unicorn, I think, would probably be, like a LFA, like a Lexus LFA.
Fair.
Yeah,
what I like about that is that that's achievable.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a lot more achievable than an F40 is.
It's about half price.
Right. Exactly.
So, it's only $500,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. The reason I say that is because I really, really like the sound of that car.
Yep.
Jack Safro, and it still used to be Safro Lexus, had one in Waukesha, and I remember that thing firing up, and it was just incredible.
Yeah.
The sound of it was just that V10. Just it was like a Formula One V10 car. It was crazy.
For sure. You're 100% correct.
Yeah. So that would probably be the unicorn car. But like I talked about in the Rivian video, I like everything for a different reason.
I mean, dude, I could have that, and I would just be just as happy if I had a donk. Like I'd be pumped,
Right?
I don't care what you guys think about that, but at the same time, like if I had a donk painted with like M&Ms or Lifesavers, like I'm sponsored like a NASCAR driver, I would be pumped. Like I'm just as happy. Both serve different purposes.
They do.
Like like I'm not I'm not trying to take out some smoke show of a girl in my donk. Like I'm gonna pull up with the F40, but at the same time, like maybe by date 5, like we're rolling in the donk to get ice cream.
I can't wait to edit this video and put pictures of that vehicle and those types of vehicles all over.
I'm pretty sure I have a picture of myself like from probably 2011 kneeling down next to a donk with like looking like it was sponsored by McDonald's. So I'm gonna try and dig that photo up.
You gotta send that to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Send that to me.
It's gonna be low quality because it's from back then. But it was in Madison outside of a McDonald's and it was parked there, and I'm like, this thing's awesome. So
nice.
So yeah, so like I feel like I'm a pretty complete car person
as well.
Where,
you like all ends of the
spectrum. Yes, I'm cool with donks to supercars, whatever.
Donks to F40s.
Donks to F40s and everything in between.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's what that's me.
So that would be a sight to see if that was parked next to each other in your garage.
It would be great.
So, but I wanted to ask, so working at your dad's auto body shop.
Yeah.
And he has this other shop that's kind of...
It's more just like a storage place, but also a hobby shop.
Right,
too.
right.
Yeah.
So he's got his hobby shop. So if you were to build your garage, being in the hobby shop, being in the auto body shop, what kind of tools would you want? So like any special equipment that you're like, man, working in auto body, I gotta have this, or obviously a lift is...
Yeah, I mean, I think a lift is good. I
remember being working on the Subaru in your garage
no
on
lift.
Our back.
It was jack stands and that was it, which is cool. So no, but like a lift is obviously super nice, and that's something to where we never really my dad has one now, but growing up we never had that. Like we had some, and they were more so just basic, like I don't even know, like just weird hydraulic ones on the floor. So a lift
to do like frame straightening and stuff, or did you send that out?
No. I mean, he has a frame machine, but we also had these ones where you like drive completely over, and then they would like it wouldn't go super far up. It'd only go like 5 feet up, and like that's kind of it.
So kind of like, well, I mean, not 5 feet, but like quick jacks are today.
Almost. Yeah. I mean, he did.
You couldn't walk under it.
No. He did have one. I remember where you could walk under it. That's before he moved his paint booth.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think having a paint booth is really cool.
Yes.
It's
like even if you don't have a full booth, like something where you can do a panel at a time.
Yeah. Some sort of vacuum thing where you can have a clean environment without stuff flying around. And then I think a wash bay is super great.
Yeah.
I think a wash bay, and then if you're getting into more putting stuff together and fabricating, I think something like a lathe is really is super convenient. Like I'm fortunate enough to where I know a guy in Hartland where your good friend John used to work.
Right.
Where if ever I need machining done, he'll machine stuff for me, which is super great.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the big things. For me, I know that sounds like really basic, but I feel like a lot of stuff can get kind of handled. I mean, obviously like air compressor, welders, stuff like that.
What about like a tire changer to stretch your tires?
Oh, I mean,
stance,
not even stretching tires, but like like a tire changing machine and balancer is good. But at the same time, this is where
would you fill that space with something else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. Like I'm not. Like that's always been the thing where it's like, oh, do you get a tire changer? It's like, well, that's a huge piece of equipment,
right?
And how often do you change tires? I mean, half the time
unless you're drifting.
And like knowing me, half the time I'm changing like the full sets of wheels before I'm changing tires, and I'm just selling the stuff off. So for me, a tire changer isn't as important, but for some people, I could see it being really important.
Right.
A motorcycle tire changer, especially for like dirt bikes, would be a lot more beneficial to me.
Yeah.
Because doing those by hand, like with just tire irons, is not fun. I do it, but it's not the most fun thing in the world.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Yeah. How about you? What would you say? This is one of my questions. What do you think is the most overlooked thing when building a garage of this sort of caliber, like a hobbyist garage type of thing?
The most overlooked thing, I think, in setting it up for your use.
Okay.
I think like we just talked about, if you are drifting and you have a drift car and you go to events on the weekends and stuff, a tire changer and balancer is going to be like top.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. So, but if you're setting it up for your hobby, how are you going to use the garage? Some people want to build like a woodworking shop in their garage.
That's true.
So you're going to want different things in that. And I think people, the call it Instagram versus reality generation, where people see what other people have, and they're just like, oh, I need that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
do you actually need that?
Do you actually need that? You don't.
Yeah.
But
no.
And that's what's so interesting to me about kind of the time that we're in and consumers. And I feel like so many people want to be that prosumer and are buying industrial grade equipment and all that they don't need. Because, I mean, like these air compressors that some people buy that are rated at 100% duty cycle, and they turn it on like once a month,
right?
And it charges and primes the whole garage, and then they don't need it anymore,
right?
It's like, what are you actually going to do in your garage? But I mean, if you're doing a small business in your garage and you need that much airflow and all that, and people are all worried about, well, you've got 130 psi at 90 CFM, like great. What are you going to do with it? Fill up your bike tires, or
Where to me, I've always grown up to where it's like, like all those numbers are great, but it's like, okay, how can we get this done? Like, like what works, what doesn't work.
Do you need me to get on the bike pump and do that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, how can we just do this and get this done quickly? Something else that I would add.
Yeah.
A TV.
Yes.
Like, I think
stereo. Music?
Yeah, but like what I've found is at my dad's storage place, we had a TV out there this past winter.
Yeah.
And it was great because you would go out there and you'd work. I mean, I'd spend the whole day out there doing a job that wouldn't take that long.
Right.
But we'd be like watching movies and all this stuff. So it ended up being pretty fun. And also something that I think is overlooked that a lot of people don't have is a super nice vise. And I know that might sound weird to people.
Yeah. No.
But if you try and work on something and someone has a janky vise, it can totally be like, this is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree to pushing bushings out or something like that, or squeezing them back in.
Yeah.
You're like cranking on it and it's starting to twist.
Exactly.
Exactly. Or it's not, you could have a good vise, but if it's not mounted correctly, and it's just kind of like shaking and
it's the worst experience. Yeah.
I agree. I think a vise is pretty overlooked, and it's not incredibly expensive.
No, not
either.
At all.
It's not like you're buying a lift or something like that. I'm sure there are $3,000.
I'm sure there's really expensive ones, but you don't need anything like that. With the route that you're going to, if you guys haven't seen any of other Sean's videos, you need to check him out and look at his actual plans for his garage. But I think something that's really smart to do if you are building a garage from the ground up is go with the heated floor, right?
Yes.
Like it's something to where if you don't do that, I feel like
you only get one chance.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it's an added expense, but at the same time, I feel like the benefit from it is far outweighs the cost. I don't think the cost
100%.
is that much at all. Just routing everything and all that.
There's a lot of planning that goes into it,
right?
But I mean, even if you don't use it and you just pour the slab with that in it, and then if you sell your house someday and the next owner uses it, and you still
got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
You have it routed because you only get to pour the slab once.
Right.
I mean, some people screw up really bad and they have to pour it twice.
Right.
But I don't want to be one of those people.
Ideally, ideally you're not. You don't do that.
Yeah. So I think that heated floor definitely if you're in Florida or something, you probably don't need one.
Maybe do a cooled floor.
Cooled floor. Yeah.
Maybe do a cooled floor.
Get some condensation on there and just slip.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah. But so you mentioned my YouTube videos. You also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. So also have a YouTube channel. I don't put much focus on it. A lot of my focus is on Facebook because that's where a lot of my consumers are. But do weekly videos from
custard reviews.
Yeah, from stuff like custard reviews and restaurant reviews to more health related tips to doing training stuff in the gym to like a bunch of different stuff. We work with a wide variety of people from a lot of kids with neurodevelopmental and ADD, ADHD, anxiety, stuff like that.
Yeah.
To like your everyday person who's dealing with like chronic neck pain.
Yeah.
It's a huge variety of people, so it makes it to where like creating content, I have to figure that out and all that stuff. And kind of like what we were talking about earlier in regards to kind of like the state of business, especially the startup state right now, and how important social media is and stuff like this. And then you can get into Facebook ads, and that's been like really great for my business. And I know like what you were saying, you've seen even success with some of your videos with doing ads and all that stuff too. So
doing ads for videos, I think, and what we were talking about, just like the cross-platform promotion, and
exactly,
not just being on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, but being on all of them and cross-promoting because there's different audiences on all of them.
Right.
I think is super, and the forums, So I think that's also important. Are there chiropractic forums?
I'm sure there are. I don't know. Like most of the profession hangs out on Facebook. Okay. So instead of like a actual forum, it's almost like Facebook groups. Like there's multiple Facebook groups, and it is a highly weirdly political profession. Like most people wouldn't think this, but it is weirdly divided. Which is bizarre. I feel very fortunate to where like I have an awesome group of people and huge group of people that surround me and what I'm all about and what we stand for and all that. And just holding our care to kind of the highest level and not super discounting it and all of that stuff. So and
I've never been to a chiropractor before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like everybody's perception is, you go in and get adjusted and cracked and stuff like that. So and it was really interesting to me when, knowing you through high school and then into college and then eventually grad school, how, you got trained in all that.
Yeah.
And how to do different adjustments all throughout the body, but the specific is different.
Right. So a lot of people are like, oh, my low back hurts, this and that. Like, let's crack here, crack there. Where for us, like what we do with the specifics, so we're a group of offices. We have 17 offices across the nation, which is cool because if I need help, I can reach out to someone. Right. But yeah, so we work solely with the top two bones in the neck. So we're upper cervical specific, meaning the top two bones in the neck. We do that because that's right where the brainstem is housed, which is really like the master control system or really the fuse box to the body. So people come in with low back pain. I've had multiple friends come in with low back pain, and we get them better by adjusting their neck. And like an analogy I'll give is if we all remember Christopher Reeves, he fell off his horse and broke top bone in his neck, and suddenly he couldn't walk. He needed an iron lung to breathe, needed a pacemaker, all this stuff. And what he died of was actually an infection. So it showed that like this area actually affected his immune system as well. So that's kind of why we choose to work with that area. And yes, we take very specific x-rays. We use this tool called computerized infrared thermography that talks about the nervous system, and we do that every single visit and all that. And that tells us, do we adjust or do we not adjust? So really our goal is to not adjust people because it means the body's working how it's supposed to, and always increase that time in between adjustment visits and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, I mean, being around other, call it kinesiology and just other people who are
that physical therapists, stuff like that.
Yeah. So being around people like that, if you have low back pain, it could also be, your hips are, or like this muscle is too tight, So it's not necessarily where the pain is located, it's a other root cause.
Exactly. It'd be like if your car's out of alignment or something and your steering wheel shakes and you're like, my steering wheel's shaky, I need a new steering wheel, I'm gonna replace my steering wheel. Well, you're gonna keep on doing that,
or my tires keep going bald. So I'm gonna replace my tires.
Exactly. So same sort of thing. Like
these tires are garbage.
Like you're not actually getting to the root cause. So that's like what we really do in the office is help people get to the root cause and get them full resolution to their issue going on. So that's kind of the best like car analogy I have for kind of what we do.
It's a good analogy.
But it's like that's really what it is like. So yeah.
Nice. And so talking about, your dad's small business and you're obviously a business owner, part of the Hartland Chamber of Commerce and all that. What made you want to go start your own business fresh out of grad school rather than working for an established chiropractic firm or something like that?
For sure. And like looking back at it, I should have worked for someone, because this is really, really hard. So if anyone's watching this that's in chiropractic school, maybe check out working for someone else, and you can you can reach out to me. I can get you into a clinic. Let me know. But yeah, I think part of it was always just being brought up in that idea of my dad has a business, and even when I worked for him, it didn't necessarily feel like I was working for a paycheck. It felt like I was almost working for my family to help with that overall dream and stuff. I think he's been in business since 1981 now in Delafield, the same building, all of that. So from there, just I guess I was kind of born into it, but also the idea of, and I know we kind of talked about this at dinner beforehand, but the idea of having independence as well. And it's funny because there's definitely a lot of nights and stuff and days where I'm working so much, and it doesn't stop from when I wake up to when I go to bed. But at the same time, I know there's also times during the day where it's middle of the day, I can go run this errand, or go to the gym.
I don't have any appointments lined up.
Or something like that, where I know the normal person, that's not necessarily the case. Right. I can kind of, in a sense, you can kind of take vacations whenever you want. It's not ideal because it means you're not making money because you're not at the business. But at the same time, looking forward, looking into the future, the whole thing is trying to set myself up better for the future, kind of what you're talking about doing as well. So that's kind of where that came from. I got really fortunate enough to where I did find the group of offices that I'm a part of, which really helped make that transition a little bit easier. If anything, the website was done for me, the email was done for me, marketing collateral was done for me, but in the end, it's still very much so my business. I'm in charge of getting new clients and paying the bills and stuff like that. I wish I didn't have to do that, but unfortunately, that's that's the case. But it's been a huge learning experience.
And with that network of the specific, do you have have you ever had a client that went to another specific on vacation here or something like that, and
so I've had people move states. So when they moved states, we went from one to the other, and I've had the same happen to me where I've had offices call me and be like, hey, my client's moving, here's what their x-rays look like, here's what their nervous system scans look like, and just pick up where we left off. Type of thing.
Very cool.
So it ends up being a really cool collaborative family. We have two meetings every year just to get together, regroup, go over new ideas, new marketing initiatives, training, stuff like that. So we had one in April in Indianapolis, and then September we're actually coming to Milwaukee for the first time, which is cool.
Nice.
We do a team activity, so we're kind of working on the team activity right now. I was on the phone with one of the people that sets that up today, so have some fun ideas. Not totally sure what it's going to be. We're kicking around there's a bar called 9 Round on North Ave. So we're kicking around that. We're kicking around
the axe throwing bar.
MKE Axe.
Yeah.
And then we're also kicking around what they started, a paddle tavern.
Yes.
Similar to a pedal tavern,
that the other
but
day.
A paddle tavern. Yeah. So we're thinking that would be super
September,
fun.
Right?
September.
Okay, so what? Still be warm
weather should be good enough for that. The paddle tavern, it's the same as a pedal tavern, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of, but it's like a boat on the water through the Milwaukee River. Stuff like that. So
nice.
Yeah,
that should be fun. How many other specific people are car people or garage people? Are you?
I'm the only one. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Some of them are into it, and I'm sure some of you guys will understand. You guys probably have friends that are into it, but they're not into it. So I'll have some of them that try and talk to me about it, and it's kind of it's almost to the point from we don't have to talk about this. I don't want to force you to try and talk about things that you don't.
What's an 18G?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of reminds me of the Fast and the Furious, where they're talking about the gallons with the pizza and stuff like that.
Gallon 24, gallon 12.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same sort of thing. So no one else is really car people in it, which is totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. And it's funny, a lot of people that just meet me don't know that I'm super big into that, because I don't I post a little bit about it, more so about my motorcycle and stuff, but don't post a ton about it, to where you could look at all my stuff and be like, yeah, this guy's just a normal guy, this and that, which that's kind of how I like to keep it. I was always brought up that way, and don't really flaunt your stuff and all that stuff. So Not many of my friends, or not many of the people in this specific are car people.
Yeah.
At all, which is totally fine. I'm more than happy about that. So.
Yeah. If everybody was the same, it would be boring.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
You want to plug anything else?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm excited for you guys to come do a garage tour of the storage place.
Yeah, we'll have to get that on the schedule.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Figure out a time when we can clean that place up and kind of get stuff more on display versus storage. And
don't clean it up too much. Then it gets into the whole Instagram versus reality stuff.
True. Very true. Nothing really too much. My brother, he runs a company where he does like laser etching and engraving. Okay. So if you guys ever need anything laser etched, engraved from water bottles.
Does he have a website?
No, we don't. We have he has an Instagram. It's Old Ash Designs.
Okay.
I'll
put a link in the description.
He's not even active. Like
flood him with Instagram direct messages.
He's not very active on there. Half the time I'm the one.
Danny's gonna hate this.
Half the time that I'm the one that's always running that, so I need to be better at it. But yeah, if you need mugs engraved, wood stuff, leather stuff, we've done mirror hangs for people.
Okay.
We've done keychains and.
Nice.
Yeah, so whatever people need. But that's kind of it. I don't think I have any other questions for you. I think we hit everything.
Nice.
It's 10 p.m., getting late here. And
yeah,
I mean, my one was, do you have a desired number of cars? But we already talked about that.
I think that's infinite. Like, I don't know. If I could be Jay Leno, I would be Jay Leno.
Okay.
And have a whole hangar.
Yeah.
Full of cars.
You kind of need a notebook for every car at that point. Like, how do I start this one?
Right.
How many pumps with the gas pedal with that one? Blah, blah, blah. So
maybe someday, but I don't know. It's not necessarily a super high desire. If the money was there, that's what I would want to do. Yeah. But ultimately,
Cool.
Bring myself back down to reality.
Okay, fair enough.
Dr. Mike Merkt from the specific chiropractic Lake Country.
That's correct.
In Hartland, Wisconsin.
That's correct.
You guys have just witnessed Garage Beers podcast number 1. So if you want to be on the podcast, shoot me an email, detachedgarageinfo@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on Facebook, and direct message me there if you're interested as well, or leave something in the comments. What did you think about the podcast? I want to know. Put it down in the comments. We've had little technical difficulties here and there. Yeah. We'll do some editing to try and clean this up. But thanks, Mike, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I super appreciate it. This was a ton of fun because half the time I'm the one getting guests on my stuff, and this was fun being a guest.
Nice.
This was great. This was great.
Perfect. So again, like, subscribe, throw questions in the comments below. Thanks again for watching Detached Garage.
Cool. See you guys.